G'day guys, welcome to my RSY's feature video. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about NRL's Round 19's recap preview for 2021. Guys, let's get started. So starting off with this first game of that match, we said Eels going up against the Raiders. Now I know for a fact that this game was going to be pretty much hard as you expected. There's a couple of changes going into that squad. No Mitchell Moses in that jersey anyway, which that means Jacob Arthur did replace him on the number 7 squad in that team. This game was pretty much determined. The Eels played really well in the first half and second half. I did expect this game to be a really tight match, but the Raiders just pulled off with a 2-point victory in that game. That means 12 points to 10 scoreline in that match. I was going to think that the Eels were going to win, but unfortunately they didn't. I was expecting the Raiders to put on a high-scoring game, but unfortunately they didn't. But then the Eels, they were playing really good, but not a lot of attack was in this match, and this game was just a bit boring and not really entertainment there, because if it's say 12 points to 10, there's not really much excitement there. I know this is a scoreline, but you don't really think that if the scoreline's going to be that much, not really that much. I just didn't think that it's going to be a really good game, but luckily the Raiders won that game, because I was expecting the Raiders to win. Usually we don't have a good record against the Raiders, so in this game obviously the Raiders won by 2 points. Luckily they did, because I was hoping that the Raiders won that game, but if the Eels turned around and made it into a really solid lead, they would have won that match, but unfortunately they didn't. So in that game was pretty much a good effort by the Raiders that really turned things around and made it to a 2-point ball game in that match for that scoreline. And obviously that game was just a pretty much horrendous match to obviously see the Eels not get a win against the Raiders, but yeah, that game was pretty much a solid game anyway. The next game of that match, we see the Roosters going up against the Knights. Now, this match, I know that the Knights aren't doing really well at the moment. They are struggling with heaps of players out. Well, not really heaps of players, but I know that a couple of players are out due to injury. I think Mitchell Pearce is out due to injury, but I know he's out because obviously Jake Clifford played for the number 7 jersey, replacing Mitchell Pearce. But I just don't really have much to say for the Knights. They just aren't really good enough team at the moment, and I just don't think they are going to be at the moment. And obviously with a couple more games left, I just think the Knights will fall down below and not get up to the top and secure a very good finals obviously competition. But unfortunately though, yeah, they are sitting quite in a very I'd say 4th or 3rd. I'm just guessing 4th or 3rd, last on the ladder. But I just think that the Newcastle Knights need to aim up their game and really put some strategy and some effort against the next team they obviously first, because this was a shocking win for the Roosters to obviously beat the Knights. And I was tempted to think that if the Knights were going to win, it was going to be a little margin in that side. But in this game, the Roosters, they played really well, and obviously without no Josh Morris in that game, obviously with Billy Smith in number 3 and number 5 was Matt Igavalu. He played really well in that game, but obviously he got injured, so there's no Billy Smith and no Matt Igavalu. Still 28 points to 8 in that game was really much a tight lead up, but really good win by the Roosters to beat the Newcastle Knights in that match. The next game of that match, we see the Cowboys going up against the Storm now. In this match, obviously there was a couple of changes going into that side, but no George Jennings. That means Dean Ieremia played in that number 2 side. He didn't really play much of football that I was expected. He is a really good player, but unfortunately though, I just haven't really seen him play a lot of football at the moment. But he is a really good player, I'd say. But This game was 20 points to 16, a really close game. I thought the Cowboys was going to really aim up in this good attack in the strategy, but unfortunately though, they only lost by 4 points, which that means 20 points to 16 in that solid game, which that means the Storm only just won by 4 points in that match, which I was going to predict that the Storm were going to win like only a couple more points, but unfortunately they didn't, which that means they would have regained pressure in that strategy in that match. But what I did think about this game is the Melbourne Storm, I just have to say this again, they are a very solid team. They just rebuild every time, and they are sitting on first on the ladder because every single time they play the ball, they don't muck up. They always win with a good heart, and obviously with Craig Bellamy for the coach, he is, like, without no Craig Bellamy, I don't know where the Melbourne Storm are going to end up anyway, but with Craig Bellamy in that side, for the coaching side, the Melbourne Storm are just the number one team that just really gets the job done by an equal margin, and I just think with no mess-ups and no turnarounds, the Melbourne Storm are a really good team. But Nico Hines, I just have to say, he is an absolute top finisher, which I reckon he will do well in the season for the Melbourne Storm. For Josh Adokar, he's a really good player also too. They scored a couple of tries in that match. And obviously, Justin Olam, he's a really good player also too. But yeah, well done from the Melbourne Storm for making a really good win against the Cowboys, 20 points to 16 in that match. The next game of that match, we see the Rabbitohs going up against the Warriors. Now in this game, I just have to say the Warriors, I know for a fact they are a good team, but unfortunately though, due to a number of injuries, they have lost in this game, and it was a big margin in that match. I was going to say like 60 points to 18, but unfortunately I was wrong. But then they put a massive scoreline up because I know for a fact that in this game, I was going to say if the Rabbitohs were going to win, they were going to win by a big margin, because unfortunately though, due to a number of injuries in the Warriors side, they didn't win that game. Unfortunately they didn't, because in this game, was I going to say like if the Warriors were going to win, they were going to obviously cause an upset, but unfortunately they didn't. But in this match, obviously with Latrell Mitchell, Cody Walker, Damien Cook, Adam Reynolds, they have a good pack, and they have a good solid team. And I just have to say, like, without no Latrell Mitchell, no Adam Reynolds, no Damien Cook, no Cody Walker, I just have to say, like, especially with no Dane Gagai, the Rabbitohs are just, like, they're just terrible. And I just have to say that they are, if they have no talent in that side. But for the Warriors, though, I know for a fact that without no Chad Townsend, he didn't play, which that means in that game, I think it was Sean O'Sullivan, if I believe. He played number 7, and I think Cody Nikorima played number 6, I believe. But yeah, things are going to change obviously for the next round, so I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to mention about it. But yeah, 60 points to 22 in that game was absolutely gentrifying, and this game was a big margin by the Rabbitohs to beat the Warriors in that match. The next game of that match, we see the Sea Eagles going up against the West Tigers. Now, in this match, obviously another average game of football, 44 to 24 in that game, was absolutely close in that match, which I did to see, like, if that game was going to be determined by, obviously, this game, I was going to say, like, this game would have been really, like, tight, because the West Tigers are improving slowly, but they're not improving but largely. But for the Sea Eagles, Manly Sea Eagles, I just still think that they need to do more effort. But obviously with Tom Trbojevic, Ruben Garrick, Daly Cherry Evans, Lachlan Croker, you name it, like all these good players from the Manly Sea Eagles, they were absolutely really good in that game, and which I do believe in this match, the Manly Sea Eagles are a really good team that are just hanging in there, that don't want to be on the very bottom of the ladder. I just think since the Manly Sea Eagles are a really good team, I just really think they will improve, and they will slowly improve if Tom Trbojevic doesn't get injured. I just have to think that if Tom Trbojevic doesn't get injured, the Manly Sea Eagles would do all right in like the coming season. But with the West Tigers, though, I know for a fact that they are a good team, but they're slowly getting there, but not enough to concede a really good win. I know they are a really good team. I'm not being negative, but I'm just trying to say, like, they are a good team to really balance it out and really get that finishing like into a really good match in upcoming games. But I know it was pretty much a hard decision, obviously, because I wasn't going to think that if the West Tigers were making a win, I thought the Manly Sea Eagles were going to win. But yeah, obviously the Manly Sea Eagles won 44 points to 24 in that match to beat the West Tigers. The next game of that match, we see the Panthers going up against the Broncos. Now, obviously in this game, no Nathan Cleary, but obviously Jerome Luai coming back in that side from injury. And also no Apisai Carousel, which that means obviously Mitchell Kenny going into that squad, replacing Apisai Carousel for the jersey in that match. I just think in this game, the Broncos, they were doing excellent. They are an alright team, but they're not a solid team at the moment, and I just think they're not improving enough to really concede the deal if they want to like balance it out sometimes. But I just don't think that they are a really good team at the moment, and I just have a gut feeling that if this game's going to be a real crucial match, I just have to think about how the way the Broncos are, because at the moment though, they are alright, I believe. But for the Panthers, I just had to think that they are a really solid team, and like I have to say, like the Melbourne Storm are sitting on this side, and then the Panthers are on this side. So that means the Panthers are a second solid team. But the Panthers, though, without no Nathan Cleary, things didn't go really well for the Panthers. But I didn't think that they were going to win, since the Broncos really aim up in their defence and make it 18 points to 12 for that scoreline. It was a close game, because obviously in this match, I didn't think that in this game was going to be really tight, but obviously it was. But a really good game to really seal the deal. And obviously in this match, I was going to say, like, in this game, like, for the Broncos, they were really good, but unfortunately they didn't really seal the deal, and they only just lost by a try or two. But this game was really tight, and that match, 18 points to 12. The next game of that match, we see the Dragons going up against the Titans. Now, obviously in this match, the Titans, they were really good in this game, 32 points to 10. The Dragons, they didn't look very good at all, obviously losing a couple of players. But the Dragons, without no talent, they won't win at all. And I just think the Dragons need to aim up in their defence if they want to make a really good lead. But like, you need to have a team to make a really good solid win, but for them, they aren't. And I just don't think they will have a really good team if they don't win a game. And I understand that, because it's just a matter of time that if the Titans like win or anything like that, I just think the Titans, they are a really good team, but obviously winning this game against the Dragons, still you need to work more on defence and attack, because I just don't think that they will do better in the season. And like, for them beating the Dragons, they are a really good team, but without no solid players, like without no Patrick Herbert, which is a really good player, things won't go to plan. And I know that this game was a really good match by the Titans, obviously beating the Dragons. I really did think that this game was going to be an upset, and it obviously was. So yeah, well done from the Titans for making a really good win against the Dragons, 32 points to 10. And finally, the next game of that match, we see the Bulldogs going up against the Sharks now. In this match, I thought, since the Sharks aren't doing really well, they have lost. They didn't have no Sean Johnson and no Chad Townsend, which I know Chad Townsend's obviously gone to the Warriors. This game was just a really good matchup, but I just didn't think if, like, the Bulldogs, they are a really terrible team, and I just hate the Bulldogs because every single time they play, they really work hard, but unfortunately they don't make a win at all. And that just really, like, devastates me because the Bulldogs are a really good team. They've got really good players, but they can't make an effort. Like, they can't make it a win at all. And every single time they win, like, they only win by a couple of points. And it's like, they're not a really good team. So I just have to say, like, they need to buy more players if the Bulldogs want to really aim up in their defence and just gain pressure. But the Sharks, though, they were a really good team, and I just have to say, from the highlight of this game, number 2 from the Cronulla Sharks was Sione Katoa. I just like how the way he gets the ball, runs with the ball, and gets the try. Like, the try on the corner looks like he did a front flip. He's an absolute top finisher, which I believe that he is. And this game was 44 points to 24, and this one was the Cronulla Sharks that won against the Bulldogs. But then in the second half, the Bulldogs really came back and obviously gained more tries, but unfortunately they didn't make a win, which that badly hurts for the Bulldogs fans that are really Bulldogs fans, like, do or die. But I just think if the Bulldogs want to win games of football, they need to have defence and attack. If you don't have defence and attack, you won't win at all. But yeah, well done from the Cronulla Sharks for making a really good win against the Bulldogs, 44 to 24 in that game. Thanks guys for watching my video, guys. Stay tuned for more. We'll be doing a couple of videos coming to you guys soon. Also, we'll be doing more videos coming to you guys soon, so stay tuned for more. Plus, leave a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and for this video. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Till then, take care, guys. Stay safe and have a good one. Plus, let's get up to 300 subscribers. We're sitting on 215 anyway, so let's get up to that. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care.